So I have been practicing some forms of social distancing for years now, having to do with reasons around my health and family. And what I mean by that is that I've been focusing in on what is really, truly essential in my life and my world. So my world has gotten smaller over the last few years. And I've let go of parts of the larger world, people in it, relationships that don't serve me or don't fully support me, my family, and lift us up. So how do I do that? I get really, really good at focusing in on what's absolutely essential. And then I do two things. Once I know what's really essential to me, meaning what enhances my life, what helps make me a better person, what gives me opportunity to be in true, authentic relationship with others, which means that I help lift them up and make them better people. And we collectively increase our quality of life. Once I get really good on knowing that, I first of all let other things go. So I just stop focusing my attention on them, because when I stop focusing my attention on them, they cease to exist as much. And then I take what's really essential, what I'm loving, and I go deeper with it. So what am I doing right now to cope with this situation? I already know, and I'm continuing to get really good at learning better what truly serves me. And I'm finding those activities, those relationships that sustain me right now and my family, and I'm going deeper with them. So I'm connecting more with people that I love and need right now and who need me. And I'm doing that in all the ways that I can, as limited as it is. But that's the answer for me. The answer is find out what really, truly lights you up and serves your life and allows you to give as much as you can possibly give, and then focus in on that and go deeper. So when we go deeper, I actually think that we end up feeling less distanced from the people that we truly love. This is a really interesting question, and this is an interesting time because things feel so incredibly uncertain, so unknown. And a lot of us are really suffering from that. I mean, that is very anxiety producing, especially since we know that one of the things, one of the main roles of the brain, of the human brain and the animal brain, is to try to reduce uncertainty, to try to find predictability and rhythm to things that we can rely on, right? And that give us a sense of safety. But here's the thing. The truth is that this uncertainty is not new. So a few weeks ago, or a month or two ago, things were just as uncertain as they are now. What's changed is how much you're feeling it and how aware you are of it. And for many of us, especially in a place of relative privilege, the uncertainty feels new because our sense of safety and predictability has never been so threatened as it is now, for some. For some of us, in fact, many of us, we have been through experiences that have really, really shaken up and tested the limits of our safety and our ability to cope. And so you can fall anywhere in that range, but the reality is that the uncertainty is not new. Okay, so we have a paradox here. On the one hand, this isn't new. It's just really, really present and in our awareness, and also it's global, right? It's happening on such a massive scale that nobody can avoid it. Almost nobody can avoid it right now. On the other hand, you have a brain that's looking for predictability to find calm. So here's my answer to that. Here's my suggestion. Here's what I do. I do the same thing now as I always did before, or at least have been for a long time, as long as I've been practicing yoga, which has taught me a lot about the fact of life being that uncertainty is a constant. Here's what I do. First of all, I work to understand uncertainty. So I use every experience that opens my eyes and awakens me to how uncertain and how predictable this life is. And I allow myself to expand my understanding and I don't know, I guess learn to live with it, right? So learn to be okay with it. And that means finding ways to be okay. And that brings me to my second suggestion, which is create or become aware of some ways in which you do have predictability. And so the number one way I suggest to do that is create a rhythm to every day that gives you a sense of predictability. It doesn't make things certain. It doesn't change that fact of life, but it makes you feel safer, right? So first of all, you understand uncertainty. You get smarter. Secondly, you create some sense of predictability. And for those of us, frankly, who care for other people right now, especially care for young children or care for aging loved ones, we know this. We know that part of our job is to create the feeling of predictability because it allows for safety, and safety allows for growth and calm. Okay, so that's the second part, is create some sense of predictability. So go through your day with a rhythm that supports your sense of that. And the third thing is, once you're in your rhythm, and your rhythm is new right now for sure, and it's also not, it's also temporary, right? I mean, there are aspects of it that maybe you'll keep forever, but there are aspects of it that are limited to this time, right? Specific to what's going on right now. So once you get into your rhythm that is predictable and feels certain and feels safe, then start increasing your awareness to each moment as you go through your day, and appreciate this moment right now. So the more we understand uncertainty, the greater appreciation we have for this moment right now, because we were never guaranteed what that next moment is going to be, right? So understand uncertainty. Create some sense of predictability, because that makes you safe, it allows you to grow, and allows you to feel calm. And then 3, appreciate this moment right now. I think I have 4 main tips. The first one is move your body. The second one is breathe. The third one is regularly get yourself into a state of deep concentration. So some activity, especially if it involves working with your hands, because that's just one of the main tools of the mind to get into deep concentration. And then the fourth is find connection. So move, the first one, move. That can be yoga, that can be having a dance party, that can be going for walks. But you've got to move your body. And the reason you've got to move your body is not just because your musculoskeletal system needs to move, but your brain needs it, right? So movement is crucial. 2, breath. Practice any kind of breath exercises that you know. Go to your favorite yogis and yoga teachers for more, and talk to them about how you're feeling and what's going on, so that they can give you the right breathing exercises for you right now. The third one, deep concentration. That's really important. So a lot of us are struggling to keep up our work, keep our jobs. That's absolutely crucial and priority. If you either find yourself in a situation where you have a little extra time and you're trying to decide how to focus it, I would scrap. I'm on board with the people that are out there saying, don't try to make this the most productive or overproductive time of your life. Just, survive and get through it. I'm on board with that. But my version of that is find a hobby, like not something to be productive and to put on your resume when all of this is done, or accomplish more, but like get yourself busy in ways that your brain and body actually want you to do. So use your hands. So draw, paint, write, knit, sew, bake, cook, build something. I don't even know. Whatever the things that you love or used to love doing, find a way to do them. Order some supplies right now and get yourself busy with that. And again, the manual task gets your brain into a state of deep concentration, state of flow. And when your brain is in a state of flow, everything becomes integrated and you have a positive experience from it. So that's a really big tip. So get done what you need to do, survive, get as much sleep and all of that. But also, if you can, do an activity that gets you into a state of deep concentration. And the fourth one is connect. And I know this is like the most obvious, and it's also the hardest right now. Don't worry about connecting with everybody. Connect with the people that you truly need and that truly need you and you can serve. And then when you connect, whether hearing each other's voices or seeing each other virtually, go deeper. So ask each other questions, find out more, say more. Use this opportunity to really, truly make use of these relationships and these deeper connections, because that's what's going to sustain us right now. So connect more. So that's it. Move, breathe, deep concentration, connection. I think the thing that gives me the most hope in life in general, and now for sure, is the incredible adaptability and resilience of the human being. And not just the human being, of animals in general, but including the human animal. And the human animal has certain capacities for adaptability and resilience that are beyond what the rest of the animal world has. One of the things that we know from brain science is the brain has this incredible ability to reorganize itself based on what's coming in, what we're doing, and what the needs are. And what that allows us to do is basically recover from injury or insult, right? So you can think of that in terms of like somebody has a stroke and then they need to learn to speak again. The brain can do that in many cases. Well, think about that like that for yourself right now. Your brain is sustaining an insult right now, right? This kind of long-term, fairly traumatic experience for many of us is causing pain and stress on your brain. And your brain has the ability to grow and reorganize itself and basically come out of this stronger and more resilient. So that's the concept of neuroplasticity that everybody always talks about. And I want you to be aware that you're a case of that right now, right? So it doesn't mean, okay, think positively and all of this is going to just get better. No. You need to go through the process of living through this, working with everything that's coming up, and then trust and know that your brain is going to recover from this and not just survive it, but possibly if we take the opportunities that we do have, come out of this even stronger and better. I'm definitely someone who works a lot with my breath, and I remember a time in my life when I wasn't as strong at that, and I remember I felt differently. Things felt harder than they do now. Things felt harder at another time in my life, not because the reality was harder necessarily, but because I wasn't as strong and powerful with my breath practice. And so I think that there's two things that I am aware of. One is that I know it's my brain's job to keep breathing, and I trust that it's going to do that. So there's a basic level of trust there. I trust that I'm going to keep breathing and I'm going to keep having the capacity to breathe. And two, I also know that I have to work on it to make that breath fuller, more powerful, more healing. And so for that, I practice, and I do things like following my body's cues for the breath. So I listen for it. I use my senses, right? I listen for my breath, the sound that it makes. I can sometimes watch my body expanding as I breathe and then contracting in. I feel that proprioceptively. So I use all of my sort of different capacities for awareness to follow my breath. And then sometimes, there are days where you feel like, oh, my breath is great and I feel powerful. There are other days where you're like, I just can't really breathe. And those are the days when I just come back to that trust. I trust myself, and I trust my brain and body to keep breathing, to keep me breathing. And I say to myself, today might not be a good breath day, but tomorrow will, So it's like, it's really a combination of the work and the trust. That's how I breathe when things get hard.